All right, here we can test the low light capabilities of this Tamron zoom lens. It's quite dark. Hi guys, my name is Matti Sulanto. I'm a photographer. Today I'm gonna take a photo walk with this recently launched brand new Tamron 28-300mm super zoom full frame lens. And a lens like this is usually associated with travel photography, and to embrace that I'm gonna take a little tourist trip here in my hometown Helsinki. My destination is Suomenlinna Fortress Island, one of the premium tourist locations here in Helsinki. First I gotta take a short 10-15 minute ferry trip. The ferry trip is excellent chance to shoot some seabirds, take some bird pictures, because the birds usually follow the ferry and they are very close and sort of floating in the air, almost like standing still, and it's quite easy to shoot flying birds on the ferry. So I'm gonna try that because this can reach up to 300 millimeters.
Ei se mitään. Et sä silti saa sitä läpi tosta, oli siinä lapsi tai ei.
Oh, it seems to be pretty crowded. I'm not the only tourist today on the ferry. I'm gonna take my spot at the back end of the ferry so I'm ready for the seabirds. While I'm waiting for the ferry to leave, I'm already finding this 28-300mm range extremely useful. I can easily take some general establishing shots of the market square behind me and some details of the buildings a little bit farther away in the distance. So all in all, looks good so far. I previously already set my autofocus subject recognition to bird position, and now I'm gonna set the shutter priority and shutter speed 1/2000 to make sure I can freeze those seabirds in the air, because sometimes they can be quite quick, and anything slower than that shutter speed may introduce motion blur, and I don't want that. So far, no birds inside. What a disappointment. Usually there's a whole bunch of them following this ferry. But maybe after we get a little bit further away from the shore, maybe they will join us and I have a chance to grab a few pictures. I'm not sure what's going on today because as you can see, there are almost no birds following this ferry today. Usually there are so many of them and easy to get a few decent shots. Well, this is photography. It doesn't always go to the plan. The maximum aperture sure is slow from 4 to f7.1, but that's one of the trade-offs you have to make in order to get the lens as tiny as this. In absolute terms, of course, this is not tiny like a Micro Four Thirds lens, but compared to any full frame lens, this is quite small. This is about the same size as the Tamron 28-75mm f2.8. But this can reach from 28 to 300. You probably know, if you follow this channel, that I'm not a big fan of zoom lenses or super zoom lenses like this, but I can certainly see the appeal if you are traveling and you can't always go near the subject, for example a building or whatever it is, but you still want to get the shot. And for that kind of situations, this is so good. The 300mm can nicely, grab details or buildings or whatever it is that you want to capture a little bit farther away in the distance. The 28mm wide end, on the other hand, is just wide enough for most wide angle situations like interiors or whatever it is that you want to shoot on a wide angle. Of course, something like 24 or even wider would be nice for some situations, but you can't have everything. You can't have everything in one lens. All right, here we can test the low light capabilities of this Tamron zoom lens. It's quite dark here, almost no windows, just some holes in those super thick walls. I'm gonna use shutter priority and set my shutter speed around 1/10 of a second, maybe even a little bit longer, and see what the auto ISO gives me. 1/5 of a second, ISO 640, not bad. Of course, I could not stop any motion, any walking people or anything like that with that kind of a shutter speed, but it doesn't matter. If I was traveling and I wanted to get an interior shot of this fortress, it would be possible, and ISO 640 is nothing high for a modern Sony camera. I'm really liking this Tamron 28-300mm full-frame lens. It's such a nice combination of versatility, reach, and everything you need for travel photography. I'd like to say big thanks to Focus Nordic Finland for letting me borrow this lens, but there's a good chance that this lens might be in my camera bag next time when I actually travel somewhere for real. It's getting increasingly overcast, and as a matter of fact, the weather forecast promised some thunderstorms later in the evening. I just hope that thunderstorm can hold back just a few more moments. I wouldn't like to get totally wet here on the island. I'm outside in the rain. I'm hoping to get a few more bird pictures on the way back, but I'm not sure if the birds are out because it's raining already quite heavily, and I'll probably just get wet without any more decent bird pictures. Back to shutter priority, 1/2000 shutter speed, and now I only need some birds. Way back there behind me is a bungee jump going on. I was trying to catch the next person, but I missed him or her just by a fraction of a second, and it's still a little bit too far for 300mm to actually see the person who's jumping. I would need probably 600 or something.
Alright, back in the office, safe and dry. The rain actually stopped almost right after the ferry left Suomenlinna, and I stayed pretty dry. I did not get any more proper bird pictures on the way back. I don't know what was going on. Where were all the birds? Maybe they were hanging out somewhere else today. But I took a look at the pictures I shot today, and I'm very happy with this combo, the Sony 28-300mm and the Sony A7 Mark IV. I think this lens is an excellent balance between the zoom range and reach and the size and optical quality. Of course, this is not the sharpest lens on the planet. If you want something like that, you'll get another lens, but then that lens doesn't have this size and range and reach. This is also not a low light monster, but if you need something like that, you will buy another lens, and that lens also doesn't have this reach and range. But if you need the maximum convenience for your Sony full frame camera, for travel photography or for some other photography where you don't want to change lenses, you want one lens that does it all, then this is a pretty good candidate. At the moment, this is only available for Sony E-mount cameras, but maybe in the future this will also become available for at least for the Nikon Z system, because Tamron has been releasing some lenses for Nikon Z mount, for example this 28-75 f2.8. That's all I have for you in this video. I hope you enjoyed the pictures, the photo walk, and if you'd like to support my channel, by far the best way to do that is to check out my e-zines, link down below. That's the best and very affordable way to support my channel and to help me to make more videos for you guys. Thanks, and I'll definitely see you soon in the next video.